bullshit.
Let's go.
Hey, you got Adam for the Outlier Superbowl Spectacular. You can see that I have Sean Green. This is now an annual event because we've done it twice. So last year was the inaugural. You were here. We got the exact same lineup this year. I didn't have to change the graphic other than the background. Sean, stoked that you're here, man. Thanks for coming. How you feeling about our birds?
Good. People ask me my confidence level. It's as high as you can be without spitting in the gambling god's face, right? Because you don't want to be the guy that comes on, guarantees a victory, said there's no way we can lose this game. But I'm like just below that. I feel very confident in our ability to pound the rock with Saquon, and we're not a team that's going to give up on the running game. Everyone says, "Oh, they're gonna load the box against Saquon, force Hurts to beat you." What do you think they've been doing all season? You don't think they've been trying to stop Saquon and force the pass? That we pass as needed, and we will take some deep shots, and then we rack it up with Saquon. And I love our defense. I love our ability to tackle in open space. So I'm excited. I feel confident, borderline cocky. But hey, it's Chiefs and Sandy Reid, so I get why people are nervous.
Yeah, it's funny. I've said this on the shows that I've gone on that I can't remember in my lifetime. I can't remember since the early aughts, since like 2004. I can't remember being this confident in a defense, and I can't remember the last time. Like the Eagles' defense has been terrible against tight ends since like you and I were in diapers, and like this year, like okay, they actually got everything figured out. Look, I'm more than cautiously optimistic. I feel good about it.
Reed Blankenship. When Cooper DeJean tackled Derrick Henry in open space. I'm like,
I know.
Damn, this is a good defense. This is a fun defense. I know all the talking points are around like Hurts and is he elite and whatever. And Barkley's carrying the team, but really the defense doesn't get as much attention as it should. This is a very good defense.
It's a great defense. We got the linebacker whisperer on our side now. It's great. All right. So I think you kind of answered, but first thing I want to ask, what feels different about this Super Bowl than the last one? And then I'd love to get a couple plays that you have that you're thinking about, and we can give out to some people.
Yeah, great. I mean, to me, it's really different. So I guess on the like rewatching Super Bowl 57, which I hadn't watched until this past week, or rewatched it. Obviously, I watched it the first time, unfortunately.
Were you in Vegas for that? Oh, no, you were there. You were in Arizona because it was only a quick trip for you.
Yeah. No James Bradberry, so that's huge. And
forgot he was on the roster until today. I was like, he was on IR.
Oh, God. And I'll go back to that play real quick. Obviously it was a penalty. He did tug on his jersey, but rewatching that game, man, they were letting him play that entire game. And that's why it was so frustrating to make that kind of call in a game-changing spot where you've been letting them play the entire time. So that aside, no James Bradberry. Our secondary is amazing. I mean, Quinyon Mitchell is like an all-pro as a rookie, which is crazy. We got Zach Bond, a street free agent that's defensive player of the year. We did not have that kind of linebackers. What we did, our defense that year, it was interesting. It was good in some spots because, they had a good pass rush, and that covered up some warts against certain quarterbacks and certain teams when we could get home. But against elite quarterbacks, and you saw that through that season, they really struggled. This season, against elite quarterbacks, this Fangio defense has played pretty well. We went in and slowed down Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. We went into Baltimore and put it all on Lamar Jackson. Say what you will. Oh, they haven't played the Chiefs. Yeah, no shit, they haven't played the Chiefs. But they did go into Baltimore and beat Lamar and hold them to 19 points in the regular season when Baltimore thrives. So I think the defense is so much better. Now, was Hurts really dialed in the passing game in a good rhythm? Yeah, but I saw somewhat of that, or like something similar to that, in the conference championship game. And then obviously the running game is completely different. Going from, you had Kenny Gainwell, Miles Sanders.
Sanders. CJ called it out on your show. And like, I remember specifically my buddy Matt said on the play that CJ was talking about that nothing exemplifies the problem with Miles Sanders than his first carry being literally like just straight towards the sideline on like 90-degree angle. Yeah. No turns.
So it's a lot different there. And then, on the Chiefs, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I don't think they're off. I think their offense is probably better in some ways in 2022, but maybe their defense is a little better. Listen, they're always going to be pretty good. Is Travis Kelce as good as he was then? Probably not. He slowed down a little bit, but I mean, we were getting cooked by like Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, Kadarius Toney is really what I remember cooking us in that game. It feels different. Obviously, folks tuning in, they're like, "Is this an Eagles podcast?" No, it is not. We're actually going to talk about some betting plays. I know it's hard, but like, no one likes us and we don't care. So that all being said, why don't you give me a couple plays that you have that you had liked?
Sure. So we'll start small and go up. If you're looking just for some -110 action, I got you covered there. Give me Xavier Worthy under 55.5 receiving yards. Again, if you're attacking the Fangio defense, and this is like Fangio specific, I think, at least in my mind, it's not going to be on the outsides, not with Quinyon Mitchell. I think Patrick Mahomes is smart enough that he's not going to be trying to test Quinyon Mitchell. And if he does, I don't think it's going to go well. And the Eagles are a very good tackling team, from the secondary down to the linebackers to even the D-line. So Xavier Worthy, a guy who might, in previous years or previous games, obviously not previous years as he's a rookie, but like previous games where he gets some nice yards after the catch, I think the Eagles rally around. They're able to tackle him, and they're able to keep him under 55.5 receiving yards. I think the way you attack the Eagles in the passing game is probably stuff like Kelce, Noah Gray, Juju, randomly, maybe, D-Hop feels kind of not great, but
I'm so out on D-Hop. It's like, whatever, but yeah.
So sure. I am Xavier Worthy. I could now, obviously, how this gets beat is if we get like a deep shot or something like that, but I like our ability to slow down Xavier Worthy. So I'll take the under on his 55 receiving yards. The other guy I really like to have a big game on the other side is Devontae Smith. He's had a great run against the Chiefs. He's averaged 107 passing yards, and you just look at Devontae Smith in a dome. Devontae Smith in this Superdome, the last time he was catching passes from an Alabama quarterback, he had 8 catches for 231. So I wouldn't even be surprised. And I think we watched that AFC Conference Championship game, almost hit the Matt Collins 2 touchdowns.
Oh, dude, yeah, that was great. It was awesome.
I'm like, oh my God.
I was like, oh, this is gonna hit. I didn't bet it, and I was like, damn, this is gonna hit.
No, and I put $20 on it, but it's like you almost hit $2,000 on 100 to 1. Matt Collins, you got to take a look at the 3 because that's how you attack that Chiefs defense. And I think that's a perfect, like, Devontae Smith is Matt Collins on steroids, which is funny because he's much smaller than Matt Collins.
And not nearly as yoked. Yeah.
Matt Collins is ripped, but his ability as a receiver is higher than that of Matt Collins. And I think that's a great matchup for them. So I really think he has a chance to get it done. And there's a million ways to play it. Him to get a 40-yard catch. His over receiving yards, the ladder market, maybe that's cooled off a little bit, but him to be the first guy to get to 20 receiving yards, that hit in the NFC championship game because his first catch was 20 yards. Yeah. And I say run it back because even if you're high on the Chiefs here, they're going to be spreading the ball around between their receivers. Again, why I think Xavier Worthy under isn't a bad play because they're going to be getting some of these other guys involved, maybe Pacheco, Noah Gray, Juju. Like there's not like one guy. And then on the Eagles side, it's pretty concentrated between AJ, Devontae, and Dallas Goedert as far as the passing yards. And Devontae, his odds plus 550 on DK. You can probably get. Someone sent me like a plus 610 out there. So
awesome. 6-1 for him to base. That's for him. Well, that's how they use them too.
Yeah.
It's just like it makes complete sense.
Yeah, it's way too high considering, it should probably be closer to a coin toss between him and AJ. And AJ is a much bigger favorite. And obviously I like AJ as well, but 6-1, 550, wherever you're getting at is fun there. And then of course a D-Gen only parlay. I think I could make a case for like 5 different Eagles defenders for long shot MVP. I'll just start with Nolan Smith, MVP, 425 to 1.
This is a bonkers number for a dude with 4.5 sacks in the playoffs.
He's led the playoffs in sacks. He has the most playoff sacks in Eagles history right now at 4.5. And you saw it against the Commanders. They're going to double team Jalen Carter, and then you have a very beatable left tackle for Nolan Smith to get pressure. And Adam, you remember that play where Jaden Daniels is rolling out to his right, and it's like, that guy's super fast, and Nolan Smith tracked him down, got that sweet ankle tackle. Now, you're probably going to need a strip sack, a turnover, a low-scoring game.
That's fine. Two good defenses, you can get a low-scoring game.
But let's look what we got here. Maybe Hurts and Barkley have solid games, but the story from the Super Bowl win ends up being, and I think if the Eagles win, maybe when the Eagles win, it's got to be some part of the narrative is going to be like, wow, the defense really showed up. The defense stopped Patrick Mahomes from getting a three-peat. How are we going to reward that defense? And then who is going to get that reward? To me, yeah, Jalen Carter is he's like 80-1 or 75-1. To me, Nolan Smith could be that guy. You know, maybe a small sprinkle on like a couple of the guys in the secondary in case they get a pick six. But Nolan Smith, him getting 2 sacks, one of which is a forced fumble that makes a difference in the game, a la Von Miller. You know, we've had 2 defensive players in the past 10 years win Super Bowl MVP. So I know off the top of your head, maybe it sounds crazy, but I think a defensive player getting it isn't quite as crazy as you think. I'd certainly like this better. You know, people are betting, like a field goal kicker or
field goal kicker is a donation. If anything, if it was ever going to happen, it was going to be like Butker last year for half the game where that was all the points.
Yeah. So Nolan Smith MVP. He's got to get 2 sacks, which I also like at 6-1.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a fun long shot and got a paper ticket for me and Adam. And why not Nolan Smith?
Why not Nolan Smith? No, I have him also for a sack. I have that paper ticket with you. He's also just like, I always forget because I'm so used to an Eagles defense that plays 4-3. They play 3-4.
Yeah.
And he's the edge.
Yeah.
And he's going to be matched up against what's his name? Like Candelita. He's basically if Thuney's over on the side, he's going to be able to just run through and cause damage. Plus, like, I think this is when, for people that like really want to watch how a defense moves as in terms of groups of people, watch how Milton Williams moves bodies so that Nolan Smith can get a sack or can get in there. Like it's going to be incredibly disruptive.
They run a bunch of those twists. You saw there was that moment of Jalen Carter, like after on the mic'd up, like you trusted me on that twist, and those edge tackle twist stuff. So there's a lot of ways he could get home here, and all it takes is like one fumble. And the Eagles have been great at forcing fumbles in the playoffs. They forced 8 so far. A couple of those have been on special teams, but that's all it takes. I mean, if this is a close game and he has the big forced fumble or fumble recovery, God bless him. 425-1. Let's go, baby. Why not Nolan Smith?
Let's do it. So the last thing that I will. So first 2 questions. Where are you watching the game? Are you going to be in Vegas? Where are you going to be in LA? What are you going to do for it?
Yeah. So we're going to do a Super Bowl party here at the studio. And it'll be
fun. So like 6 people just with beers, just like moving around the room and doing the thing.
Yeah. We got, we'll probably get like 20 people in here.
That's cool.
There's like the studio where we record, and then God's Eye out there where we got, like 8 TVs. So there's enough.
That's good.
It won't be like a crazy party, but it'll be enough. Some good mojo. I mean, could stay out in Vegas, but I don't know. Like it's the Super Bowl.
For this game, I wouldn't want to do that.
Well, also too, like I like to be in my normal routine. Yeah. I got all my lucky stuff in the right order. Very much Silver Linings Playbook, where I got the remotes and certain things, and I'm like De Niro in Silver Linings Playbook. I'm not gonna mess up the juju, so I'm gonna kind of keep it like any given Sunday, like my normal routine. So we're having some people over, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I like my wife knows every important Philly sports game for the last 25 years I have gone to my buddy Matt's in Cherry Hill since college. Like, so that is Phillies runs, Flyers runs. We do that. And his dad had texted me even before he did. He said, "You're coming over next weekend, right?" And I said, "Yep, absolutely." So I will be driving down on Friday and I will be there on Sunday. And man, I'm hoping, and also look, I want to be within like walking distance from Broad. So we'll see what
That
happens.
would be if there is a post Broad Street. Now, don't climb up on any light poles.
No, I'm too old for that now. What you got? So last thing I'll ask, final score prediction.
Yeah, I'm going with the weird score, slightly over. Eagles win by 9 points. The last time the Chiefs lost against the Bills, they lost by 9 points. So I'm running the back. Eagles 32, Chiefs 23.
Love it. Sean, tell everybody where they can find you, this week, and tell us, like, hype what you want to hype. Tell everybody how they can find you.
Yeah, Sports Gambling Podcast. We're doing 59 props for Super Bowl 59. We're giving them out all week, and then we're running a free squares pool where we're giving up to $2,000. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/squares, and Friday night VSiN show, 11 o'clock East, 8 o'clock Pacific, VSiN.com, YouTube TV, Sirius XM. So check that out.
And for those that don't think that, oh, wow, they're doing a free squares and people win it, I actually randomly met a guy at a conference in May who had recognized me from your show and said that he knew you because he won the square. He won like your squares like 2 years ago. I think it's Andy. And he was just like, yeah. And so look, guys, it does happen. Miracles do happen. So, Sean, thanks as always. You are awesome. I know you and I will talk the rest of the week, and most importantly, go Birds.
Go Birds, baby.
All right. So, we got through some of our props. We're going to have a couple other ones I'm going to put up on screen as we're waiting for our next guest. I will put up here. Oh, that's not the way to do it. Let's do it like this. There we go. All right. So far, like I said, with Sean gave out Nolan Smith MVP, which you can find. If you can't get someone in circuit to put it down for you, it is still like 350 in some places, and it's going to be okay. It's a fun one to look at. Xavier Worthy under, and Devonta Smith race to 20. I think they're all great plays. The Nolan Smith sacks, he's basically even money to get this, which I think is outstanding. And yeah, I mean, look, it's gonna be this is gonna be it. And I see for a second, I saw one of our guests coming in the back just saying, yo, what's up? But our next guest we're gonna have Steffi Smalls whenever she decides to roll in. She kind of, for those who know her, she kind of does her own thing. So we just let her do it. But look, if you are in the comments and stuff, drop some comments, let us know some plays and things that you are liking. This is kind of the big Outlier Super Bowl show that we do every year. There's a ton of different props and plays. I'll do even like a little bit of labbing and stuff on here. Kind of want to see where some things have landed overall. I see we got Sean with the W, who I've known as long as the guy who I'm going to his place, my buddy Matt Pollock. I've known Sean just as long. So these 25-year friends that are stuck with me here screaming about the Birds. He is there's Sean is there, but going through, let me just see if there's some other things that kind of like jump out at me. Let's look for a nice little like plus money like alt here. Let's kind of get something over to let's get something degenerate to 2-1. Let's do that. Let's do an alt line here. Look, if you like DeAndre Hopkins, I don't. But if you like DeAndre Hopkins and you think he has a big game, 25 yards is plus 270 for DeAndre Hopkins. I honestly, if I'm looking at it, he has a very low ADOT. So I would probably his receptions, 3 receptions is plus 375 for him, which is, Jesus, that's absurd. If you're talking about being priced on a certain thing, 4 receptions is 10-1. Wow. If you think DeAndre Hopkins has the Juju Smith-Schuster game from the other Super Bowl, this is the time to do it. Other things that are looking good, just messing around odds wise. You could do some stuff around. Pacheco. I think Pacheco has a good game. While we're waiting for Steffi, I'm gonna bring Sean in early. It's gonna be just to say hi. Sean, what's going on, buddy? What are you wearing? What are you rocking? Is that an Expos? Oh, you don't have sound. You chose to mute yourself, it says. There you go.
I can't hear anything. Great.
There you go.
This is what I get for showing up early. Hold on.
That's fine. It's all good.
Say something.
Yo, what's going on? There you go.
Yes.
Okay. Is that an Expos jersey?
It is an Expos jersey.
Nice.
It is an Expos jersey of.
Oh, all right. So that campaign, by the way, that Topps did was great. Sean, do you want to tell everybody you went on mute? It put you on mute again. So do you want to unmute? Tell everybody the story with that, because that's a good deep cut.
So as I'm going to change my mic again for the third time.
It's all good. We drink on this show. We're not very professional. It's all sorts of fun things.
Okay. Tom Brady was drafted by the Montreal Expos. And for those people born this century, there was a baseball team that used to play in Montreal called the Expos that they played in this stadium called Olympic Stadium. And what is Olympic Stadium? Google the 1976 Summer Olympics. And he was drafted by the Montreal Expos in the 18th round of the 1995 MLB draft. However, he never played clearly. So one day I was looking I was on eBay. I forget what I was looking for. I was looking for something, and I came across his jersey, and I was like, I want this. And I asked my mother-in-law to buy it for you for Christmas, not thinking she'd actually do it, and she did. So
that's awesome.
In respect to the real GOAT, because there's other GOAT that they're talking about in Kansas City, how they're winning to crown this dude. No, there's one GOAT. And listen, I'm a Ravens fan, and I respect Tom Brady. This is the GOAT right here. Thank you.
We got Steffi actually in the back room. I'm going to pull her in right now. And I'm going to immediately, Steph, how you doing, dude?
How's it going? How are you?
What's the weirdest thing you've ever bought on eBay? Because for me, it's probably the Tim Tebow Eagles jersey from the preseason that he was on Chip Kelly's team that you didn't even make the team. That's probably the weirdest thing I've bought on eBay.
I feel like eBay stresses me out. Like, other than like trading cards, I feel like that's the only thing I buy on there. But for some reason I feel like the website is so like archaic. It's hard for me to focus when I'm on there.
I buy hair product on eBay. That's
there you go.
Because they don't make my product anymore.
Yeah,
so.
That's funny.
eBay is good for sports clothing that is hard to find later. For example, I had this Ravens knit hat. Like, when they New Era came out, those NFL hats. And it's So I had one of those for years. And then on the train, drunk, going home last year, I left it on the train. And obviously you can't go to Foot Locker and buy it. And I said, let me try eBay, and you could buy them in bulk. So I bought 2.
You're like, if we can have 8 of them now.
Yes, I really want 2. So, all right, I will get out of here.
No, you do. Stephanie. I mean, you could say, well, Sean's the closer, but he was in because we were just we were between Sean's, so it was just like Steffi will come and we'll do that. Actually, I just realized all my guests are Sean, Steph, and Scott. Because
that's funny.
That's
Did
funny.
You plan that?
Yep. I don't know. It must be some Freudian thing that I have. But Sean, you actually are welcome to stick around or not. But Steph,
I'm not going to take up Steffi Smalls' shine.
You are more than welcome to.
I'm gonna go in the back and talk shit and eat, and I'll be back. But I'll be paying attention to your picks.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. Steph.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Your Eagles are in the Super Bowl, huh? That's fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you as a Giants fan, how does this feel? Watching like an ex-boyfriend.
Watching that, yeah.
Watching it, or ex-girlfriend. I mean, it could be whatever you want. We're very fluid here.
Right.
How's it feel watching them kind of go off with another lover and kind of get pretty far?
It feels weird. I think obviously there's been a lot of complaining about the Super Bowl. People are like, oh, it's the Eagles and the Chiefs. I don't want to have to root for the Chiefs.
Man, I like rematches,
I think rematches are fun.
Did anyone ever watch a Rocky movie? Come on, man. Apollo and Rocky 2 was great.
Yeah, I think the game's gonna be better than people are acting. I think people are just being dramatic because they're jealous that Kansas City has been there so many times, and then it's the Eagles, which you guys get a lot of hate because you're a little bit annoying on Twitter sometimes. But that's okay. It's just the fan base. But yeah, it's a little weird seeing Saquon there. I'm happy for him. It's gonna sting if you guys win. but it is what it is. I'm happy for him.
Well,
Kind of.
that's a very mature way of handling it.
It's not as mature as you think. I think
so-
you guys are losing, and I'm not
mean-
betting at you.
So for those that don't know, Steph, in addition to being very excellent at football and a championship fantasy player, she actually she was in the Circa fantasy stuff and won it. She's also a really elite golf handicapper. This is also your Super Bowl weekend in terms of like fun events. You want to drop a you want to drop a pick for this weekend as well, or what?
I'll do
for
something
golf before you jump in?
that I gave out.
Yeah, give it out.
Today. I think that the way to play this is if you think that the Chiefs are going to win, I think you take Mahomes to be the MVP because I don't think there's going to be another candidate for that should he win. So if you want to parlay that with Scotty Scheffler, because you never get good odds on Scotty Scheffler, I think Scotty has a really good shot to go back to the Waste Management and win. He just finished T9 at Pebble. He's plus 275 to win. So like that's painful. We're not doing that. It's disgusting. So if you parlay those together, you get a nice plus 700. So if you want to try to sweat out both events, you can.
That's actually that's a fun play. That's a fun play to do. It's probably about what, 5 or 6 to 1, probably.
Yeah, it's almost 7 to 1, honestly.
That's good. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So no, Waste Management is on my bucket list.
It's so fun. It's definitely worth going to.
Yeah, that's on my bucket list. And just the way that it's always done is like
it's a blast.
It's just a blast. So okay, what do you got as you don't get banners because you didn't give me plays in time.
I know I didn't.
I don't care. It's fine.
It's fine.
What's give us a play that you like for the Super Bowl, and I will put it up.
Okay.
If it's available, I'll put it up. But yeah, tell us.
Devontae Smith. So your boy over 19.5 for his longest reception.
Love it.
That's at I think I took it at minus 115.
Yeah, I took it this morning at minus 115. So
yeah, I really like the matchup here versus the Chiefs D because they play a lot of man heavy D, especially when they're healthy. He's played against Spags like I think it's 3 times maybe in the career, and he's gone over this now. He's flown over this number, like 40 plus yards. He's gone over this already in 2 of the 3 playoff games, 6 of his last in the 8 regular season games. And he typically flies over what he does. I think we're going to see a lot of Devontae Smith. I like his receptions too. I think that's a play to look at. I also, if you want to take it a step further and take his 30 plus yard reception.
I laddered him. I laddered his longer. Yeah. I did the 20, 30, 40, 50.
I would not talk anyone off of that. I think where I just was pulling that up before you brought me back on. Him to have a 30 plus yard reception is plus 290. Like, I don't hate that at all. He's been very kind to me lately. We were fighting a little bit because I feel like every time I bet it was like I was hitting the hook or it wasn't going well, but we are back on good terms. Love the matchup here. Love Devontae Smith. So I think that 19.5 is a great number. I'm actually surprised that it opened there. Like I was expecting it to be like a 21.5.
I think they just think that it's the 8. He's still under radar. Like he won a Heisman. Like he actually won a Heisman.
Can we throw some respect on him for the love of God?
I think that everyone's like AJ Brown, and it's like, this is the dude. He's in good and open space.
He's great.
So, who else you got besides our guy Devonta?
Look at me being really nice. Dallas Goedert.
Oh, look at you. All these. How did this feel?
I know. I'm trying to come on. I'm kissing a little bit of butt right now.
Right.
Dallas Goedert, his longest reception, 18.5. If you can still find it out there.
You love the longest. You are the longest reception queen.
I figured I'd stay on brand here. Very well.
I know you drop these a lot in the chat for SGPN shows. It's great.
I love them. Yes, he's become like quite a focal point here for this Eagles offense. He's gone over this in all 3 of the playoff games. You look at what he's done: 15 catches, 18 targets for 188 yards. And we know that the Chiefs are not great. I won't.
Worst in the league consistently.
Will not beat a dead horse. I know that that's been definitely a focal point for everyone this week too. But I like Goddard also to go over his receiving yards for some reason. I think because it's becoming so public and so popular. This is the way that I want to play Goddard right now because it feels a little bit for me. I don't like the word safe, but
no, it's a good floor, I think, and It's look, I like it's the way that they use him is great. Like I like Goddard. It to me the cap's really easy. It's just the Chiefs stick against tight ends, and also Goddard's been the guy. He's been that guy for this entire playoff run. It's great. You didn't play in that last game against them last year, but that was a different team and they stunk. But I like this. This Chiefs team gives up big plays. They are slow and they are very good defensively, but they still will give up a big explosive play. Yes. What else do you have? Do you have you just all in on Eagles guys, or what do you got?
I'll give you a Chiefs longest. How about that? I'll round it out. Give me that longest. I know that this week suddenly it's so funny. Everyone is like, remember when Juju was like the most hated person ever, and now everyone is all of a sudden in love with him. I feel like you do have to go Juju or D-Hop. You have to decide which one you want to take here. I'm so pro D-Hop, and maybe it's because I don't want to.
All right, let me go.
I am, but mainly because his longest reception is 8.5. Yeah. That's one catch. 8.5 for D-Hop, who's very reliable. I just even like envisioning Kelsey being very like blanketed, and then you see D-Hop kind of in like this single coverage type situation, and I could see D-Hop. Maybe he even gets a touchdown. I mean, the plus 600 for D-Hop to get a touchdown in the Super Bowl, a vet, reliable vet here from home.
That's a crazy number.
Yeah, he went over in the AFC Championship. He went over in 10 out of his last 12 regular season games. Like, I think he only
look at all that green. He just crushed it.
Yeah, look at that guy.
Average is 15. Yeah, it's look, I am not a D-Hop guy, but like this. I also think that the Eagles win, and if the Eagles are winning, then the game script for me is that D-Hop's going to end up getting one in an underneath shell type of package, and it's going to be for like 11 yards. Yeah, it's going to be exactly for 11 yards. That's why I like understand, like I can totally get behind not taking his receiving yards like over, but I still think it's D-Hop, and 8.5 for one catch is just not. Let's be a little serious. Yeah. Nope. I totally get it. I mean, that's the thing. Everything's top heavy, so you got to go bargain bidding. I did so I wanted to ladder somebody on both sides. I laddered Devonta's longest, which is so degenerate. And then I went Juju.
That's
ladder
okay. I get
because I think that people aren't talking enough about like I'm just trying to be objective here, but that dude should be seared into everybody's memory on like what was happening in the first Super Bowl, and he kind of operates in a way where he just sits in the middle of the field and he'll kind of maneuver and do whatever. He had a big grab last week, 2 weeks ago against the Bills. So I laddered him to 50 because it was like I'm like, look, if someone's gonna cook us, I'll let it be Juju.
There you go.
And he can do like 7 for 50, and it still works.
Yeah.
Give me one more play, and then I will let you let you get out and get ready for golf and get ready for your other stuff.
Play do I want to give you? That probably won't be
Sam jumping in and just saying that we're degenerates. So there you go.
I can give you really something degenerate if you want. Which way do I want to go? I think that the Mahomes anytime touchdown's interesting. I think Jalen Hurts still that number there, but I think Mahomes, like we've seen him do this. He had 2 in the AFC Championship, like
4-1.
That's what I'm saying. Like, doesn't that seem silly or no? I don't know why. I think that 4-1 is a really fair price for that.
4-1 is crazy. 4-1's crazy for a quarterback that we just watched run it in a gotta have it.
You know how he gets, especially in big games. Like he's the guy that's going to start like moving around. That's what Mahomes does.
Yep. Sam is asking. He says, "I need something degenerate for my radio spot tonight." So before you wrap up your portion of this, give Sam something degenerate. Or we could build something together. We could build him a parlay
together because I feel like you're not gonna like it.
So I'm a big fan of reverse correlation kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so
I'm down. I love that.
So you want to do like D-Hop touchdown with D-Hop under receiving yards. And he just gets this red zone. There we go. There you go, Sam.
Love it.
D-Hop touchdown with under 11.5 receiving yards. Go nuts. You just got that one.
Do it. I love it.
Sam saying it is diabolical. I love reverse correlation. All right. So, Steph,
Yeah.
Thank you again for
Of
coming
course,
by.
anytime. I know our schedules haven't been matching up well.
Well,
but-
that's because I have kids. Well, if and when you ever have
True.
children, they destroy your schedule between 4 and 7, and you're always like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you should jump on at 5:30." I'm like, "That is literally the prime time." that,
Yeah,
like,
you're like, they're going to bed. And I'm
they're
like,
going to
oh,
bed, and it's
right.
not. Well,
Forgot about
if
that.
you do a show this weekend, like that's also part of the reason why I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to go to Philly," and like, my wife is awesome because she's like, "Yeah, I'll take the kids so you can go watch sports 6
Yeah.
hours away."
Yeah.
So, but I will be around. I can do other shows and do stuff like that.
Cool.
And but tell everybody where they can find you. Where can they get more Steffi Smalls?
More
the
Steffi Smalls
show?
at Steffi Smalls with 3 L's on Twitter. I just recorded my first prop show on my YouTube channel, the Steffi Smalls Show. I'm across socials. Just follow me on Twitter, and then usually you
Good
can follow
follow,
me from
really
there.
good follow, because takes nothing seriously and
Nothing. We just have
roasts the right
fun.
people so hard. It's awesome being on the right side. It's awesome being your friend because I don't get roasted. But
Yeah.
man, I would hate to not be your friend because like you do good roasts.
I would never roast you.
Well, I don't know. A lot of people roast. Sean roasts me all the time because Sean and I've been friends for 25 years. So, but yeah. So, all right. Look,
Amazing.
Steph, it was this was awesome. Thanks
Yes.
for making the time.
You're fantastic.
You have validated this now in its second year by
Yeah.
showing up both. You get next time when we do it next year, you get like a gold jacket because everybody who's come here does it. So
Perfect. Amazing.
Awesome.
All right.
all
I
right.
wish your
Thanks,
Eagles
Steph.
the worst of luck. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you. All right. I'll see you soon. All right. So who am I bringing in? Oh boy.
Yeah.
Another person. What's going on? Look at you. Look at that. You are definitely at your dad's house. You have like a.
I'm actually
background.
not.
Where
This is
are you
actually
now?
something from the SGPN crew. So this is actually
Oh,
my
that's
apartment.
supposed to be your new background?
Yeah, with this. I got product placement
Oh my
over
God.
here. So there you
That's
go.
great. I didn't realize until Sean was on that everybody who I invited begins with the letter S. So I'm actually what I'm gonna do. We'll do this. So we're gonna look, let's kind of jump right into it. Scott, you guys who are followed, like Scott's on every single one of my shows because he doesn't have anything else to do. So
I mean that's one way to put it. I mean, I like to think it's because we're friends, but
we are
that
friends
works too,
too.
I guess.
Scott, what's the first play that you got for this Super Bowl?
All right, so the first play is going to be simple. By the way, I don't want to spoil everything, but our entire joint card was posted by you like 4 hours ago. So we have like 40 plays.
We have
if
40
you want to
plays.
actually.
But
look through
let's
it.
also be honest that like these are all thought through and it was great. And
Oh no, we
it's
spent
actually-
like a full week
we
like
spent a
going
full
through the
week.
entire thing.
Yeah, between stuff I labbed with you and stuff I labbed with Sean. It's a pretty solid card. There's one thing that actually Sean and I don't agree on, but I think, and I'll talk to him when he gets back on this. I'll bring it. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna talk cash money shit about it before he's not here. Sean.
Like you can talk
the
cash
one thing-
money shit about me while I'm off stage.
Yeah, while I
backstage, for the
see you.
record.
So I'm gonna just say we'll get to it, but like Sean and I are on different sides on the over and the under, but it's not something that Sean's dying on a sword on, I don't think. But I know that he likes this play. Scott, tell us why this is one of your plays.
Well, I mean, the big reason for it is just how often he actually scores a touchdown. You could complain that he's a tush-push merchant or not. Who cares? If you can bet the touchdown, I'm going to bet it. Point is, though, it's minus 105, and at the end of the day, he has been a monster at scoring touchdowns. He had 3 in the NFC title game, but besides that, he's had at least 1 touchdown in 12 of his last 17 games. We know any situation at the goal line, he's running. There's a chance he could scramble potentially in the red zone too. But minus 105, I see minus 110 mostly. But once again, we took a lot of these plays like a week ago.
It's
minus,
fine. 110's fine.
I was going to say minus 110 is still
130.
good because you know that, no offense to Barkley bettors, if they're at the 1 or 2 yard line, they're sneaking it probably like 3 times in a row. And whatever works, works. So minus 105, minus 110, I'll take it.
There you go. Sean, co-signed by Sean Hardy.
I took this the day after the NFC Championship game at even money because I said they don't fuck around. If they're on the 1, and like you don't, it's like I'll quote like Raheem Palmer always says, like you don't get extra points if you bet against Mahomes. You don't get less.
That's
money.
such a great line too. It's so true.
Yeah. It's like, well, he's a merchant. Like, are they gonna pay me like? So what if he's a merchant? It's not like they're gonna pay me like at minus 105 instead of plus 100 that I bought it, right? So like, money is money. Simple.
That was my logic. Minus 105 is too cheap for a guy that's guaranteed to get at least 1 touch in the goal line at like the 1 yard line. So
absolutely.
Nope. I love it. All right. So, what else? So then also, what's your next play that you have here?
All right, so the next play that I have here, I have the neither team to score 30 points in the game at even
I
money.
love this play.
It's for the value. At the end of the day, I feel like people are going to overreact to how crazy the offenses went in the title games. The Eagles scored 50 plus points. How are you going to bet the under? It's because I think you're going to be looking at what could be a low scoring start, tend to see a bit of a feel out process, a little bit of conservative play calling early, maybe, but it's mostly how good the defenses are, which I feel like is pretty underrated. Both these teams are elite scoring defenses and they drain a bunch of clock. We know the Chiefs, if they're winning, are going to try to milk the entire fourth quarter. We know the Eagles are kind of the same way.
That is Sean's, by the way, that's Sean's that's Sean's favorite bet that is college funding his son was the second half. Sean, you talk about
unders. Don't even think about it.
But both teams are built the same way logically, which is if we get the lead, we're not giving you the ball back. So I expect to see a lot of running clock there in the fourth quarter. Of course, you have the chance of maybe a back and forth circus, but I don't exactly see that. I see a more low scoring game. I think people will be sprinting to bet the over. They were because of what happened in the title games. That was 2 weeks ago. It doesn't really mean much to me. I think each team is going to be dialed in defensively. I think they're going to be trying to drain clock late. I see maybe, once again, a higher scoring game than we think. Maybe it ends up like 27-24. You still go under. 30 is a lot of points by one team in the Super Bowl. I'll go with the under. Even money, it's a great price.
Yeah, I was on this with you, and we kind of reverse laddered it. We did the under 25 to Chiefs scored 30 points only 3 times this year. One was last week. One was in overtime, and one was in its letdown spot where they kicked the last-minute field goal and didn't go to overtime against the Panthers. And the Eagles are under 30 in 13 of their 20 games played. And like you said, these are the best scoring. These are the 2 best scoring defenses in the league. Just let it slog. I love it. All right, next one that you got. Let's go. We're a Scott play that is kicking props.
Yeah, so we had about 40 plays to choose from, but I figured you wanted the fun random novelty pick to go with. So I'll go with the longest field goal under at 48.5. I believe you were the one who dug it up yesterday when you said Butker hasn't made one past 44 yards since week 3.
Yeah, let me look. I'll pull it up on screen right now, but he had a 44. Let's see. In here is over field goals. So he has had longest field goals. So distance wise, yeah, this is his distance this season. 44 is the longest he had. But prior to that, 53. He hasn't come close to this since week 3.
He's also had a couple injuries. He's had surgeries before. We know that these teams are very solid at actually going for it on fourth down and being successful. So I can actually see a pretty aggressive game plan by both coaches here. Elliott's been a mess from 50-plus all year long. I know you know that as well as you're the Eagles fan. Point is, though, both kickers aren't exactly trustworthy from distance, and both coaches are uber aggressive on fourth and short. I see a lot of fourth down attempts here. We know Sirianni's going to go for it every time on 4th and 1. As for the Chiefs, they also go for it a lot. So even if Butker does get some attempts, and same thing with Elliott, you might have to sweat out maybe an end-of-half scenario. But if it's going to be 4th and, let's just say, manageable, 4th and 4, 4th and 3 at around the 30, let's go with the 35. They're probably going for it. So I do think there's a chance that these teams bypass some long field goal attempts with some unreliable kickers to let either their offense or Mahomes, either one, depending on the team you're looking at, potentially go for it again. So 48.5, I think, is too high. I'll go with the under. You might have to sweat out maybe a false start on a 45-yarder. But I see, once again, 48.5 being too high. I'll go with the under minus 120.
Yeah, looking at Elliott, he had a 50 in that game that Pickett was quarterback. Prior to that, he didn't come. He had the 49 against Cincinnati.
But that's basically one in the last 2 and a half months.
He's in the same boat. He's only hit this 3 times this year, and he's been awful from 50 for the last. Basically, he had 2 attempts in that game from 50. But let's see, he had a 50-yard attempt. He had a 50-yard attempt last 2 weeks ago that he missed. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's an easy one for me. So I am going to because you're here now, I will add in some of the other ones that are from ours. We both like Eagles to attempt a 2-point conversion and then to make a 2-point conversion. Plus 275 and plus 650. Eagles do the most 2-point attempts in the league. I like this a lot more than Octopus. I like it a lot more than either team to make a 2-point. The Chiefs are terrible in short yardage. They don't go for 2. but we know that we've said this a couple times that if the Eagles end up in a situation where there's a penalty on a touchdown, they are absolutely going for 2. And that is literally Jalen Hurts and it's Saquon Barkley and it's what they do. I think that this is crazy price for them to just attempt one. They don't even have to make it. And if they make it, it's plus 650. I did both to win a unit. They're on MGM, which does not let me bet on them anymore. That was the last bet that I was able to get in. But shout out BetMGM. Maybe it'll change when I get to New Jersey. We'll see. But I liked that. And then you and I discussed this one a little bit more degeneracy. We are on a Juju ladder, as I had mentioned earlier. There isn't really a lot of guys that we wanted to buy low on that could do whatever, but the odds were just kind of crazy that if Juju Smith decides to, kind of play it and do his thing, the odds on him to have like 50 yards is plus 760. You could go higher. It's 13-1 for him to have 60 yards. Again, he had 1 catch for, or what do you have? 2 catches last week?
I think it was 2 for 60. Point is, though, you're looking at the overall ladder possibilities. We tried to target somebody that had a low, I'd say, base. Yeah. And the issue with these teams, first of all, the Eagles are way too top heavy. There wasn't any value trying to find anything. You can't find guys on it. We did the longest reception, but that's about it. That was basically it. We tried to do something with Devontae, but that was kind of it. As for the Chiefs, you can make an argument for a couple guys. We thought about maybe going Pacheco rushing. But we decided to go for touchdown instead.
It was too much of a, we really hope this happens, and it had a lot of potential to go very badly.
Correct. So the point is, we like Juju because he's going to be on the field. He does operate in the seam or in the slot. So I think
Slay is going to be on him.
Slay's going to be on him. He's been banged up too. I know you're not a fan of Slay, but the point is, Juju can get there in a couple ways. Maybe a drag route he takes for about 40 yards, a deep throw. Broken plays as well with Mahomes. He's going to try to buy some extra time. You might only need 1 catch. Like if he ends up getting a 30, 40-yard catch, suddenly you're just printing money at this point. So we like the opportunity for Juju. I know you're still traumatized by Juju in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, but either way, point is Juju, we thought had a pretty low number for a guy that had 60 yards last week in a pretty big game that came down to the wire.
Yeah.
60.5's a lot, and you're looking at the other options on that receiving core. I mean, Hopkins has done nothing. So I am wondering if the Chiefs are going to be trying to, I don't want to say pivot off of Hopkins, but trying to find other opportunities for guys to contribute. So
nope, I like it. He had 33 also against them. Well, he like year before, this wasn't actually when he was on the Chiefs, when he was on New England. But yeah, he did pretty well against them in the Super Bowl. I forgot that this is Juju's second go round on the Chiefs. All right. So Scott, as always, it has been super real.
I've been tracking all our plays the entire day. We have basketball people.
By the way, how did we do? Now that we have this, oh wait, we didn't do it. We lost that free bet because we forgot to do it.
I mean, you had a show to do, so that's
fair. Unless it's still available. Let me see. Did I get it?
I'm sorry we couldn't donate with UConn to make the Final Four with random
let me
stuff.
Let me see if it's still on. We had a free bet that we were going to use on DraftKings.
Well, we only take futures with these free bet things. So
we have everything parlayed with Yannick Sinner to win the US Open.
I mean, he's the hardcore king.
We lost it, and there's no way I can ask my rep to give it back.
It's fine.
It's $25.
Whatever. Ask your rep to get your BetMGM account back.
Yeah, dude, that's the whole story. There's an analyst at MGM, whose last name is Ashkenazi.
Okay. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he's Jewish.
Right. Well, so you and I find hilarious, and I messaged him, and I was like, first of all, Rosenberg to Ashkenazi, I think this is great. This is just pure comedy. And then I said, just going to ask you right now, are you able to get this back for me? And he's like, not a chance. But it was escalated. So we'll see what happens.
All right.
I'm hoping that it's just a state by state thing. We'll see. But anyway, Scott, where can everybody find you when you're not gallivanting on shows with me?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at Ratio Radio down below. I do, once again, a bunch of podcasts at SGPN. Tennis Gambling Podcast, NBA Gambling Podcast, WNBA Gambling Podcast, MLB Gambling Podcast. I have the Propcast with you coming up during the season, which is going to be fun for baseball stuff. Baseball is like, what, 50 days away, 60 days away, I think?
Pitchers and catchers next week.
Okay, so there you go. I know that we're going to be talking a lot about baseball futures, even though you already made a bunch of bets already for that.
Yeah,
so
I got those will be coming out. It'll be fun. It'll be that. Yeah, that'll be 3 days a week on SGPN. It'll be fun.
How are you feeling emotionally getting ready for the big game?
I feel good. Honestly, I'm
not used to having teams playing for anything. I mean, the Yankees were in the World Series, but I thought they would get destroyed. So I feel like you're in a spot that I'm not too familiar with.
I don't know. Well, so first of all, what's funny about that Yankees thing is that you and I have parlayed a futures bet that is Chiefs to win the Super Bowl
with the grand slam in the World
with
Series.
somebody to hit a grand slam in the World Series.
And Freddie
with
Freeman
UConn.
just hit an absolute bomb. Yeah,
Yeah, and that was which is great. I was like, oh my god, this has been activated. It was like $10 to win like $2,000. Anyway, no, I feel good. I'm very, very focused on hoagies.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So
What do I wanna
I'm very focused on hoagies. All right.
Does
All right,
Nora,
Scott.
does Nora understand the stakes that are at play on Sunday, or is she still not?
Nora had an awful 2023 season, so she's just kind of touting like it's nobody's business this year.
Okay.
Like for those that have followed like my kids and their bets, she had a terrible season in 2023. She had a very good season in 2024. So she's kind of touting. She has a paid Discord now.
Okay.
She hosts Twitter Spaces. She's like
That's actually one thing that I've never actually done. I've never hopped into a Twitter space in my entire life.
Sean and I did them all the time when you weren't allowed outside, and Sean still does them for he does. There's a really
I thought wasn't that
one.
a Periscope thing back then, and that died?
No, it was Clubhouse is what you're
Oh,
thinking
okay.
of.
All right.
And then but there's a really well run like consistent ones through the Hoop Spaces guys, and Sean's done a really good job of doing it with like where it makes sense, where it's an extension of a watch party and it's something like that. Like he's done that. But like right now, it's literally just like privileged Discord bettors.
It's a bunch of
like,
Discord
yelling
bettors.
shit about each other.
It's a mixture of really upset fans that get together and rant. It's a mix of premium, whatever Discord people.
I gotta bring Sean. I'm gonna bring Sean in for it.
And
Sean
it's also a mix of people that have gambling drama and they want to clear up their crypto coin beef, and that's kind of what
farting. It's farting in a mic. It's farting in a
never
mic.
Never been into one in my entire life.
There's a lot of disgruntled ass fans. Like there was a Knicks Twitter space that was entitled "Tibbs and Leon Rose are frauds," and I'm like, this is the best Knicks team of your fucking life, and they're frauds. So
I'm a Nets fan, so I have no idea what you guys are going through right now. My team's like actively losing to the Wizards tonight. Like I don't know what.
Our boy had a triple double.
Who?
I was at Bilal's a hell of a player. Though.
Bilal had a triple double, dude. He's our boy.
I mean, I like Bilal.
So much money this year.
I would have bet on Bilal to have a triple double at any point this season once Kuzma got traded, but unfortunately, that does not exist in the market.
No,
so
it wasn't even. It definitely wasn't available. There's no way. Like
correct. I'm a big Koulibaly guy. I'm happy he's got the green light now. But the point is, my team sucks. So Knicks fans, I get they're passionate, but your team's good. Like, calm down. You're fine. You're a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference. It's fine.
There will always be people that will complain. Some people just need to complain or push agendas. So
that's right.
I'm enjoying the ride.
Scott, get out.
Cool. I'll see you.
All right. Later,
Scott.
Sean, always the closer. All right. So how do you feel about I love that reference. How do you feel about wait, hold on, pausing for a second. Let's kind of backing up. Did you see how good Braun Breaker looked in that Royal Rumble?
Dude, you remember I said in the group chat, I love him. I remember I said in the group chat, I was like, I was watching this the first time I saw Braun Breaker. I was like, yo, I like this dude.
I like this dude.
He has a style that I like. And when I found out who his daddy was, I was like, oh, that makes sense. The dogs are barking.
Oh, he plays the whole thing up and like, he's over. He's so over.
He's over.
Like, I love him. And his brother's a tight end for Miami, Ohio, I want to say.
Really?
Yeah, because they interviewed Scott in the sidelines when he got a touchdown right behind him. It was great. No, so that's Scott's son. And so his cousin is that. I don't know. It's just great. Like, because you and I grew up on these guys, and props to Big Papa Pump for changing his entire everything and just committing to it for the rest of his life. All right. That being said, let's kind of jump into this game. All right. So initially, I'm going to put you on the spot. Initially, you were like, how does this game not go over? How do you feel about this now?
This was the day after the championship game.
Yes.
And I realized I was being a complete fucking noob or sheep. And I was like, wait a minute. So I actually backed away from, I like Eagles team total over.
Okay.
I have not bet it yet. I still have kind of thinking about it.
You're getting a good number of it because it's below. I think it's below 24. Oh, I can look it up. I think it's below 24 now.
Okay, if it's below 24, yes. then I like it. So I liked the over. I liked the over because one, like not because the Eagles scored 55
122,
points.
122, by the way, for over 23 and a half. That's a great price on that.
That's a great price. I'd like the over, not because they scored 55 points, but because good offense, like in today's league, good offenses seem to do well against good defenses, and it's just a matter of time. Because listen, the Washington football team scored 24 and they gave the ball away 5 times, right? So now one could say defense is why they gave the ball away, right? Turnovers don't just happen, therefore, shout out Teddy Bruschi. But I felt like, you know what? I just felt like both teams will be able to score, get to like 24, 27 points. But now I feel like if any team goes over, it'll be the Eagles. So I'll probably, now that it's went down, now I'll probably bet the Eagles team total over.
Okay.
But like I can't be the one. Well, I was also the one. I'm the one who tells Chiefs team total unders, and I'm like, you can't tout Chiefs team total unders in the second half, and then love the game to go over. But then again, I literally saw the Chiefs score.
We just did, but it just happened last week. Like the game went over. Yeah. Like
yeah. So what are you gonna do? So, but yeah, that's how I feel about the game. I think the Eagles win. Listen, the Eagles have the better quarterback. Excuse me. The Chiefs have the better quarterback. The Chiefs have the better head coach. The Eagles are the better team from top to bottom.
They're better.
They're
better roster.
better. Like, and I know it's like, don't bet against Mahomes, and like the same way, like Raheem is right that you don't get extra points for betting against Mahomes. At the same time, it's like just to blindly say, well, it's Mahomes. Like if I bet on the Eagles and they lose, I can sleep well at night because they're the better freaking roster. And they're the better team.
I think that most of the offensive guys on the team not named Travis Kelce are NPCs. Like, I mean, like it is. I think that it's Mahomes and a bunch of NPCs, and you know Hollywood Brown very well. And so he's borderline NPC.
Yes, when you and Sean were talking about him, I was like,
I took his under first reception, under 10.5, because that dude just does not like want a big play at all, and he hasn't done it at all. His A.6, like he's not. So his first reception I'll take to be under the sticks easily.
Oh yeah, 1 catch, 2 yards.
Yeah, exactly. So that minus 120, I took that.
Or they just try to throw him like a screen and it just gets blown up.
He gets blown up. All right, so let's get into your plays. I want to give you props. The play that everyone gave me credit for last week was that play got around. So there's your conference championship. There was a play that you gave out on our show that I loved, and then it caught fire. It moved. It actually at the end moved against us and still overwhelmingly hit, but everybody fucking loved it. And that is Xavier Worthy rush. And I see that you are on him again this weekend. Tell me.
Yes. So during the AFC Championship game, it was over 3.5, and I said they're going to give him at least 1 carry. So as long as they don't blow it up in the backfield, which is hard to do, and it's happened to him before. He had a game this year where he has minus 8 yards rushing.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. It was a couple weeks ago. It was against Houston.
Yes. So if they give him a carry, this should hit, and it did. Now, the funny thing is, I was looking for it for 10 days, and it wasn't up. Like they only had rushing props for the running backs. It opened at, as you can see on the screen, it opened at 6.5, went down to 5.5. I caught it at 6.5. If it went down to 5.5, I'd buy it.
I mean, it goes. They're gonna jet sweep him.
But again, he's going because he got in the AFC title game. He got 2 carries, so he got 1 for. I think he got 1 for. I think he had 2. I think he had a 1 for 8 and a 1 for 8. So like he's gonna get a carry. He might get 2. I think as long as it was under 8, as long as it was under 7, and as long as it was 7.5 or under, I was always gonna take it.
Yeah, I mean, so the play that also tell me with you like this. Fastest ball carrier Worthy. It's got the same odds as Barkley. There's the shortest odds, but because of this kind of play.
So that's a real thing. I heard cousin Sal
it's on
talking about
TK.
that fast. Jesus. I think, listen, I will take the smaller guy in the open field to hit his top speed over,
Okay,
like,
that's what I was going to
Saquon.
ask. If you like him to do that versus him getting him on a jet sweep. I was trying to figure it out if I wanted to do it or not.
Yeah, like him on a jet sweep, if he breaks it open and he gets an open field, no one's catching him. He's literally like, what do you run, like 4.19 in the combine?
Yeah, he broke like every record.
Yeah, so like that's the if I bet on him, anyone, I bet him.
Sorry, someone just sent me that Butler has declined his player option on his new deal, and someone replied that money should be going to Israel. I don't know what that said on Twitter to Shams. I don't know. Sorry, it was very distracting. Yeah, look, I like Xavier Worthy to kind of get a lot of that stuff. I think he just gets used that many. He gets used in a whole bunch of different ways. So like this play makes total sense to me. You have another play here that is like been your baby for as long as I've been betting sports with you. Tell me, you can tell everybody what it is, or I'll just throw it up on the screen. You can talk about it.
Okay. So over 2.5 players will attempt to pass. Coaches pull out all the stops for the Super Bowl, and you tend to see reverses, trick plays, whatever, and you like this, and you'll see a non-quarterback attempt to pass. I had this up here, and I don't know where the hell it went.
I made a banner for it.
No. I had researched all the times it happened in Super Bowl history, and I thought I had it up here. Here it is. So it has happened. Actually, no, that's not what I had it for. But like plus 180. So listen, this is because obviously this basically is not only like if it's a trick play. This is if God forbid someone gets hurt and someone has to complete and the backup has to come in. If there's a botch snap on a field goal, and the kicker has to throw it, a fake punt, things of that nature. But usually this happened. There's an attempt every. I had this up here, and I don't know where the hell it is, but it happens like 12 times. I'll find it, but yeah, okay. I bet this. Chris, I don't call you Chris. Adam is right. I bet this every single year, and I will bet this in every single Super. I will bet this.
Well, hold on. Talk about the story about when we really thought this was going. Like, talk about well, actually, no. I know what your other play is, so we'll talk about it when that happens. Never mind. Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah. So I bet this every year, and it's a decent price. And again, it's not just Saquon throwing a pass. It's missed field goals. It's fake punts. There's a whole bunch. Backup quarterback comes in. I bet this every year because you'd be surprised at how many teams have tried to pull this off.
Yeah. All right. It's not just really specials. All right. Next play that you have. This had a very good run during the what was the time period of the tens called?
The teens.
The teens.
I call it
a really good run. Safety at 13-1. Tell me about it.
Okay, so there have been this stat I actually have up here. There have been where the hell is this? There have been, of course, oh my goodness, I am terrible. There have been 9 safeties in Super Bowl history, I believe. So this is something I learned from Adam Rosenberger on implied odds and calculating odds, stuff like that. So basically, the
Bronx Science Math, dude, you know this.
Yeah, Bronx Science Math. Well, where the hell is okay. You know what's funny? Now I found the other thing. Really quickly, there have been 12 times has a non-quarterback attempted a pass in a Super Bowl. There have been 12 times. So if you do that, that's 12 out of 58. That's it happens once every 4.5 games. So we're due, and it happened last year. Jawan Jennings threw a touchdown, which we'll get to that in a second.
Well, we'll get it. So safety wise, tell me about this one.
Yes, but safeties tend to happen. Here we go. I got it here. So there have been 9 safeties in Super Bowl history. Doing the math, the odds on this should have been like 8-1, and it's
Okay.
17, and it's 13-1.
There you go.
So,
Nope.
and to your point, Berg, there was a run where this happened like
It was happening all
2 years in a row.
Brady had the intentional grounding.
Yes.
Peyton got like obliterated in the or was that the
no, Peyton
the
Peyton got in the 43-8 game. Peyton got obliterated.
Peyton got obliterated. It was so weird. And yeah, there was a run where this was happening all the time.
Yes, so I have it here. So it happened in 2009, 2012, 2013, 2014. It happened 3 straight years.
Yeah, dude.
Now it has not happened since 2014. I don't believe in the gambler's fallacy of their due, but again, the implied odds in this, it should be like 8-1 and it's 13-1. So
there you go.
And also, I have visions of Jalen Hurts taking a terrible sack in the end zone because it already happened 3 weeks
That's
ago.
what he does.
Yes.
Nope. I can't fault it. All right. So this other one was tied to the other one that you had mentioned there, and it's another one of your favorites. And we were so close to cashing it on a specific player 3 Super Bowls ago.
Yes.
Talk to me about a non-QB to throw a passing TD.
Okay, so in Super Bowl, I forget what the pandemic Super Bowl was. 50.
It was the that was the
55.
whole pandemic
55.
was Chiefs was the Chiefs one where what's his name got used as a turnstile.
Yes. Oh, okay. You're right.
For the second time in 5 years.
After that, yes.
For the second time in 5 years, he got used as a turnstile.
Yes.
By the way, just to be clear.
Yes. Mike Remmer, shout out.
Mike Remmer, yeah, that's right.
Super Bowl 56. Because so you want to hear something funny? This is a crazy mnemonic device. I always remember that Super Bowl 54 was in Miami because the Roman numerals for 54 LIV, which is live, and live is a club in Miami, and that was the last Super Bowl before the pandemic. That was January 2020. So Super Bowl 56, Rams Bengals. Me and Mr. Rosenberg had all types of money on Mr. Odell Beckham Jr. And
Specifically on him to do it.
This dude is going to throw a touchdown. Listen, we had him for MVP. We had him so much stuff. But
everything.
I was like,
we had this whole vision.
I said he's throwing a pass. He's absolutely positively throwing a pass in this game. And guess what? If he didn't get hurt, he would have.
He blew out his knee trying to cash our bet.
Yes.
Like that's what I like to think.
Props to you. All right.
Yeah.
So non-QB passing TD touchdown. This is for Philly. That this counts. There have been, I have this right here. There have been 6 touchdowns thrown by non-quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. Like I said, most recently, Jawan Jennings did it last Super Bowl. Yep. Before that, Joe Mixon in 56, the game that we're discussing. And it happened in and then obviously Philly, Trey Burton to Nick Foles, Antoine Randall against the Seahawks, it's the Steelers. So I wanted to bet. I looked at, because I'm a odds whore, any QB to catch a touchdown is plus 3,700, but that's knowing. And I heard you and Steffi talking about it, which I agree with you, that like Mahomes rushing touchdown at 4-1 is ridiculous. Like Mahomes anytime touchdown 4-1 is stupid money. It's a stupid price. But the Chiefs have been very careful ever since Mahomes messed up his foot, got injured on a quarterback sneak. They have not run him on a quarterback sneak since.
Yeah. Well,
so
they run a guy who was a quarterback in high school, actually.
Yes. So I don't see Andy Reid running Philly for him. Could Nick Sirianni do it? I mean, he's like, he's like, oh, you're doing
it's a Doug play. Shit. It's not a Nick play. That I don't think. Yeah. I don't know. But
so I honestly, this bet is just for fun. Like,
that's fun.
I put like $5 on this. Like just don't go crazy on this one. Don't even put it in your list of plays.
Just be like, oh, I accidentally had it. I mean, Noah Gray was a quarterback in high school. He's the one who does all this quarterback sneaks now too.
It's funny you say that because I was literally trying to find out who on both these teams played quarterback.
It would be Noah Gray. Noah Gray would be one of them. Noah Gray would definitely be one of them. And on the Eagles, it would probably be.
That's all I was trying to
probably
figure
one
it
of the
out.
tight ends.
Did Devontae Smith throw a touchdown? I don't know.
No,
Like,
they can't, dude. He's like he's weighs like 100 pounds when wet. You can't do that. You got to put Devontae Smith in open and like let him be tackled like that as an active. No. Yeah.
So okay, so then now that you say that about Noah Gray, any quarterback to catch a pass is plus 1,600 on DK.
Okay.
So that would be, honestly, I like that better than this because
because it's for like a first down on a fourth or something to catch him.
So usually when you, because I was thinking about, I was thinking about all like the all non-QB touchdown throws I see, or non-QB passes, and usually touchdowns. The one that wasn't was when, you remember, in Super Bowl 52 when they called the play and Brady ran out
and
he overthrew him, and that was not near the end. Although if Brady catches it, he might score because there's no one in front of him.
He was gone.
Yes, but yeah, any QB to catch a pass, that's more likely than a non-QB pass touchdown. But again, this is like I said, I put $5 on there. If it hits, I'm like, oh shit, that's it.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, no, I like it. All right, so the final thing I will ask, as Ali says that he got picked up something from 1-year-old. I didn't realize Ali had a second kid. I completely missed that.
Can I tell you a secret?
Well, we're on a live show, so I don't think it's a secret. Do you want to tell me off when we're done the show?
No, they does.
Okay.
About to have a third.
Oh Jesus! All right. Well, Godspeed on that one.
You'll never see him again.
I will give. Look, I'll say the same thing that I say to all my friends who are married. I'm like, if your wife wants to have sex with you, she's lying. She's just ovulating. She's just like she is not interested in you at all. She just wants babies. So it's science. All right. So we got a guy coming in just saying Chiefs, baby. I'm just gonna give G-Pick a little bit of credit. So what is your final thing? What is your what's your score prediction?
My score prediction. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slide back because my camera likes to do this thing where it stops focusing on me. So
it's called aperture, but yes.
Yes, it's called aperture. You would think I know. See, that's why
you do know.
That's why you get paid the big bucks. Okay. Score. Eagles 27, Chiefs 20.
Oh wow. All right. So like just under the under.
Yeah.
But you agree? You think the Eagles? I would call that margin. The Eagles win by margin because I think they do. I think
honestly, listen. I think there is the point that you made earlier. Like, if one team gets the lead, they're just gonna run clock it. It's not like, here's the thing: if the Eagles, all right. So, like I said, I love Chiefs second half unders, right?
Yeah.
Last in the Super Bowl, they had 3 points in the first half. They scored 22 in the second half.
Right.
With that being said, if this Eagles team gets a lead, they're gonna put the Chiefs in $1 million dream.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you could run on the Chiefs. They're not good in short yardage. You can get there I really am leaning towards like Saquon long reception over. Oh, by the way, I listened to you and Scott from Monday. I caught up to it yesterday. I feel like Saquon, like if I were to bet Saquon rushing yards, I'd bet at 125 because
I still think it's low. I still think it's low.
Like, I mean, it's like. I'm not saying he's going to run for 200 yards. Like he's going to pull.
He's just having a special type of thing where he's just seeing the like. People don't realize that. Like, not to hijack this part of it, but like the thing with Saquon, like you can say, like, oh, he has over 400 some touches. He actually, though, every single time he's breaking out of these tackles, he's not getting touched. His yards after contact are insane because nobody is touching him.
And the other thing I go back to is like the Eagles. Like, listen, all right. First of all, let me give the Chiefs some props. The Chiefs do one thing very well. They do a lot of things very well, but the biggest thing they do very well is they do not beat themselves. If Saquon gets held to an under, KC wins. I'm not so sure I agree with that as much as if Saquon gets to like 125, Kansas City definitely loses. Like, there's a world. Listen, 2 years ago, I saw Jalen Hurts and his offense kick that defense in the teeth. And this team is better than that team. And
Yeah.
that team didn't have Vic Fangio as a defensive coordinator. Like,
Well, there's a lot of people that like to point out that Patrick Mahomes is 8-0 against Vic Fangio, and my response to that is that Patrick Mahomes only has 26 career losses, period. So
Yes.
he's above 500 against everyone. Just to
like
be clear.
if you're going to tout the fact that he's 8-0 when
But
Vic
G-Pick is
Fangio
putting
was
out
the
this
head
thing. He
coach
says
of
the 2 losses this year is held under 100. He's right. I mean, it's because you can't do play action when there's no threat to run. So like I completely understand what he's saying on this one.
No, I understand. No, I listen. If like there's no world where the Chiefs, like, Saquon runs wild and the Chiefs lose, right? I just think that, so like I was saying, the Chiefs, one thing they do not do, they do not beat themselves. But they can play a clean game. So can the Eagles, especially when you're able to run the ball. So listen, is it possible that Kansas City could win? Of course they could win. Like this is
Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback on the planet.
They've been on voodoo bullshit for God knows how long all season, right? So they're good. They don't beat themselves. They make plays. They play like they're good. I just think, again, I'm not going to overthink this. Philadelphia is and I place a heavy emphasis on, if you have the advantage at coach and quarterback, you do very, very well. However, in Super Bowl 52, the Patriots had the advantage at coach and quarterback, and they lost anyway.
And they got their butts kicked to a backup. Like,
and Tom Brady threw for 500 yards. It didn't
500 yards. They still lost.
When they needed it, Brandon Graham came around the corner and.
I mean, look, so hold on. G-Pick's going 38-21 Chiefs. So he's going with everyone turns this off in the third quarter. I think it's going to be, 17-10 Eagles.
17-10.
Yeah. I think it's a 6-3 first half or something like that, like some sort of 7-3 first half type of thing.
I'm glad you said that, because I was listening to Cousin Sal on Monday, and to jog my thought process for bets, and he threw out any quarter to end 0-0.
I love that. I love that a lot.
I was like, because again, it went
just
back
do
to
that. Just get it. Just go. Honestly, dude, just buy that square.
Oh yeah, just buy 0-0.
Just buy 0-0, because you can do that and you get odds.
You can do that. Yeah.
So that's what I would do.
Yeah. So that's something I would do. Yeah. But 17-10.
Yeah, I think 17-10. 17-10 or 23-17, but 17-10 keeps sticking in my mind. I can see 17-10, honestly, either way.
Wow.
I can see the Chiefs winning this 17-10.
Well, okay. G Herbo, whatever his name is, he's gonna get mad at me. G-Pick's getting mad at me.
So stacked on the O, man, and they're healthy. Stacked on the O, like it's DeAndre Hopkins.
I wouldn't say they're stacked on offense.
I would not say they're stacked on the O, but the other stuff I agree with.
We're gonna see if Simmons's theory about they've been saving Kelsey all season. By the way, I'm no longer buying Kelsey props. I'm not buying shit. I'm tired of paying juice because of his last name. Fuck that. He could have 3 touchdowns via con Dios. All right.
This is
DeAndre Hopkins stinks.
DeAndre Hopkins stinks, man.
Marquise Brown stinks. Worthy's good. Kelsey's good. Noah Gray stinks.
Noah Gray stinks. I think Noah Gray stinks. This I agree with. And then you got Samaje Perine just chilling. Samaje Perine's one of my favorite players in the NFL, because that dude makes $5 million to do one play per game, and he does it very fucking well.
All right. So then that reminds me,
I like G-Pick a lot. I like him.
G-Pick.
I'm a big fan of this.
Listen, G-Pick. Were you what was DeAndre Hopkins' line in the AFC Championship game? They're not he's not getting
11.5. He doesn't have enough snaps anymore. He's below 30% in snaps. Look, here's the thing. If you're looking for a good betting value on a ladder thing, bet him for 100 yards and have fun with that. And that's fine. And again, G-Pick, I'm on a Juju ladder. I'm not
he's the guy
objective on this thing. But Hopkins isn't on the field for me enough, and he just doesn't look good at all. Oh wow, look at this. First QB I watched was Steve DeBerg.
shout out to you. So you've been through hell and high water.
You've been
So
through hell, man. Yeah, that's real.
I give it up to you.
All right, Sean. I'm gonna get out of here. So that means you got to get out of here. So tell everybody as usual where they can find you.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Sean with a W underscore. I forgot the underscore here. There's an underscore because some jackass has
it's actually
Sean
very
with a W.
key. Otherwise, you will not get to Sean.
Yes. I'm part of Nick's Film School. You can follow us at Nick Film School, SKOL. Sean for W again on Twitter and Blue Sky, aka Lip Sky. And listen, if you are in the New York area, we are having a watch party this Saturday at T Squared Social, which is on 42nd Street between 5th and Madison Avenues, just down the street from Grand Central Terminal. The Knicks are playing the Celtics. I will be at the game, but I'll be at T Squared before and after. Hopefully not after the Celtics hit 42 threes and beat us by 30. So that's just always a possibility because that's what they did to us game one. So that's where you can find me.
All right. Well, for Sean, for Steffi, for other Sean, for Scott, I'm Adam Rosenberg at Hey Rosenberg. Thanks everybody for coming by. We had almost 1,000 people that came through here. It's pretty badass.
Yay.
And yeah, man, you hopefully got a lot of winners. Hopefully a few losers that aren't like crippling, but are fun.
Yes.
Yeah, man. And just everybody, good luck with your bets. You can jump in my DMs and yell at me. I'll take it all the time. Thanks again. G-Pick especially. Thank you. Talk to you guys all soon.